All right, so good morning, everyone. My name is Jesse, and I am with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. If you're joining us for the first time, we're all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world. And I started that with conservation, and that is no more true than it is during this month of November. We have an incredible lineup of over 40 presentations of conservation around the world. We're featuring explorers and scientists, conservationists across the globe, really. It's Komodo in Indonesia, it's Borneo, it's in the Arctic. But today's presentation is really special for me personally. Back in May, we were joined by Rosamir Guillen. So she is the founder of Proyecto Tití, working to protect the cotton-top tamarin, one of the most endangered primates in the world, and the really quite unique and incredible forest in which it lives in Colombia. So I'm so thrilled to have her back. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Rosamira to blow our minds with all the cool stuff she gets to do. So Rosamira, thanks so much for joining us, and can't wait to hear from you.
Hi, Jesse. It's good to be here. Hello, good morning to everybody. It's my pleasure to be connecting with you today and sharing a little bit about our work with the cutest monkey ever, the cotton-top tamarins. They seem big on this screen, maybe you think, but it's actually the size of a squirrel. Look at this cute little guy with amazing hair. Somehow like a rock star kind of thing. So I'm going to share with you how we are protecting this cute little monkey that we call the cotton-top tamarin. And I'm going to do that by sharing with you 3 stories. So my first story is about Savage. Savage is a female cotton-top tamarin. And she is very important because she is the mommy in her family group. Cotton-tops live like us in family groups. And mommy is the one that makes a lot of decisions for the family. For that, she needs to be strong, she needs to be wise, and she needs to be a leader. And that is what the cotton-top females are for their family groups. Look at that beauty. Look at that beauty of a little monkey in her forest, just checking her forest out. And Savage is actually the daughter of a very famous cotton-top tamarin that we used to call Tamra. Is one of the cotton-tops that we studied for a long time in her forest home. And she taught us a lot of what we know about cotton-tops, how they live, what they eat, what is important for them to make it in the long term. And she was actually the main character on a movie that was made about Colombia's amazing biodiversity resources that was called Colombia Wild Magic. She was in all posters and TV, and so she was actually a big star. And like Savage, she was also a very strong, tough cookie, a very strong mommy, but she did great for her family and was able to protect them all throughout her life, which lasted like 17 years. Can you imagine just 17 years? She was very old. For us, it would be like maybe being in the 90s or something. But normally cotton-tops only live like 5 to 7 years. But Tamara made it for a long time, and Savage certainly got a lot of her skills to be the leader for her group. But Savage, just like us humans, had a partner, and her partner was Ray. He was a very smooth guy, very easygoing. I mean, she let Savage made the decisions, but he had a very important role in their family group. And you can see that little backpack that Ray has in his back. That is a little transmitter that sends a signal so that we can find our study groups in the forest. He carries that little backpack, and it's very common for cotton-tops to carry their babies in the back. So he used to having that little backpack in the back. And that helps our team of researchers and biologists when they go into the forest to find the animals. You see that antenna that Felix is keeping in his hand. That picks up the signal, and then we could find Savage and Ray and everybody in the family. And these are Francie and Felix are part of our team. And this is their office. Can you imagine having a forest for an office every day? I mean, it is fun, but sometimes it can be a little tricky. It's very hot here in Colombia, very humid, so you're basically sweating all the time. But you get to see these amazing animals every day. And it's actually basically like following a soap opera, It's like every day is a different story with each one of these animals. And our team gets to do that every day. But it's with the purpose of learning and just using all of that information to make sure we protect this little primate. And you can see why it is important to have the transmitters, because we're talking about a 1 pound monkey. So you can imagine they hang out up in the trees, about 30 to 40 feet above the ground. And I don't know if you have seen them, but there they are. So it's not easy to see. So to study an animal, we have to really find technology that helps do our scientific work and learn about the species. This little guy here is Lee. He is one of the older brothers in the family, and he has a very important role. I'm sorry you can't hear his vocalization, but they do have like a language. And he is right now like a little iffy there, and he's making an alarm call. And it's usually probably because there's some predator that is looking for lunch. Predators for cottontops are either boa snakes that live in the forest as well, or any raptor bird. So raptor birds are kind of hovering around, and if cottontops give them a chance, they will come down and pick one of them. But that is nature, we know, right? That is part of the natural balance cycle that we have in the forest. So Lee has a very important role in the family, is to watch out for predators and let everybody know if there's any threat. And they, then go savage and tells the group, let's go this way and, find some shelter somewhere so we can be safe from predators. So that is a very important role in the cottontop family. And then we have Angie here. And as you can see, she's enjoying a very tasty little fruit. Cottontops feed from fruits that grow in the forest. And that is actually the very important role they have in the forest. They eat all of these fruits. They swallow the seed. It's actually like if you would swallow a mango's pit, something like that. And then when they poop, all of those little seeds come out in the ground and new trees come about. So cottontops are dispersers of seeds. And so when they move around their territory in the forest, they are planting trees all the time. And all of these trees become forests later on, and they keep the forest very healthy. That is a very important role. After 10 weeks, they have to get off their back of their parents and try to do it on their own. And you see this little guy here, he's a little nervous, but it's part of the process of learning how to move around on your own in the forest, right? He's a little stressed, the poor thing. But it's like when we're kids and we need to learn how to walk and kind of, do things ourselves. So that is what they do also in the forest with the monkeys. And they're very lucky because they have a great mom that takes care of them. And even when they get on her head, literally, like you see in this picture, that is the way the cottontop families work. You can see it's very similar like our families. And after all, we're all primates, right? But one thing that is very important about cottontops, and you can see here the map of our whole planet, is that they are only found in that little red dot that you see on your screen, and not even in the whole country of Colombia. You see the insert there. It's just that little black bubble. That is the only place on Earth where you will find cottontop tamarins in the wild. That's it. Unfortunately, like many other places around our planet, the forest is disappearing. The forest that is home to cottontops is disappearing. And because of cattle ranching, agriculture, mining, all unfortunately human-led activities. And also this sad image, cottontops are hunted to be sold in the illegal pet trade of wildlife in Colombia. People don't know them that well. They think they're, very exotic animal coming from somewhere else. And it turns out it is in our backyards and we don't know. And then we think it's cool to have, wild animals as pets, which is not. And that is another threat that cottontops are facing. So our cute little monkeys are critically endangered. That means they're just one step away from being extinct in the wild. And that is why Proyecto Tití works very hard to protect the forest that is home to them and to work with the people. That is actually one of the things we do with a lot of emphasis. We put a lot of work into protecting whatever is left of the forest that is home to cottontops. and also restoring it. So planting more trees, creating more forests, and making sure that cotton tops can live long, and we can also enjoy seeing them and seeing nature around us here in Colombia, especially because the forest that is home to cotton tops is also the home of all these amazing species that you see on the screen and many more. We have a lot of different mammals, birds, reptiles that live in this amazing tropical dry forest of northern Colombia. So the work that we're doing to save the habitat for the monkeys, it's also helping many other species that also deserve to live and to have a home for the long term, for a long time. It's not only about the animals, but we also benefit from saving this forest that we do for cotton tops. Because forests are sponges that save water for us, basically. They provide a lot of services for us, like protecting the climate, like providing food if we use them sustainably, and more than anything, providing water. When you think about, going a whole day without no water, then you realize how important it is to save our forests and to be able to benefit from having water whenever we need it. So everything we do for the monkeys, it's also benefit. It's a benefit for us humans and for many other animals. So we're very proud and happy that we have this approach that cotton tops actually end up being a symbol or the ambassadors of their habitat. And that way we create so many benefits with our forest conservation job. Then my second story that I told you about is a human story. The next two are human stories. And this is Anna. Anna actually grew up, she was born and raised in a very little community by the home of Savage, Ray, and everybody else in the family. As she was growing up, she saw many relatives of her families using the forest resources for subsistence. So cutting trees for building fences, for firewood and selling the firewood, or selling the wood. People do this because there's not too many jobs in these areas, in these rural areas of Colombia. They need to feed their families, so they use whatever they have at hand, right? Which is not the best alternative, but that is the issue. So in thinking about that, we came up to Anna's community and say, hey, Anna, we want to provide only another alternative for you guys to get an income. Instead of having to cut trees and hunt animals, would you go for that? And she is a great leader, just as Savage and Tamara were strong women. She was a single mother, so she needed to feed her families. She went for it. She invited some of her friends, and we came up with this crazy idea of making, handbags with recycled plastic bags. And they went for it. And in just within a year, we had a very nice group of artisans that were making these beautiful handbags with recycled plastic bags. Well, that was about 15 years ago, probably. We have recycled many plastic bags. As you see here, the kids are having fun with a big pile of plastic bags we recycled. And then that way we avoid so much pollution generated by plastic bags and turn them into this beautiful artwork that the artisans could profit from. And then they could leave the forest alone, leave the monkeys alone, and have a sustainable income for their families. So Anna became a very skilled artisan, and she started then traveling to other places in Colombia to teach other artisans. She started training more women into the art of crocheting with recycled plastic bags. She got a lot of training on running a small business and marketing her products. And she started going to fairs and talking about the monkeys, the plush, the eco mochilas, we call them, and even, handling the news. So, coming from such a little community that nobody knew even was there, Anna started becoming a very well-known leader for her artisan group and for Cotton Top Tamarins, actually. They won in 2012, they won the Equator Prize, which is a very prestigious prize they give to communities that are working to protect the environment and making a sustainable living. So Anna has been a great friend, and thanks to crocheting eco mochilas, she has been able to raise her three kids and build her house. You can see her proudly standing by her house and finding a very sustainable way to feed her family, educate her children, and make a living. And of course, she thanks Cotton Tops for that, because instead of harming the forest and the monkeys and all of the other animals, she's now recycling and making a business with recycling. And some of her products now, she can do this from home. She, kind of gossips around while they crochet with her friends at home, caring for her family and for her community. And her products are now in the runways. So you can see some of the most prestigious Colombian designers now designing eco mochilas with recycled plastic bag. So it's ideas that actually have given a lot of benefits to communities and to the monkeys. And these are the kind of things that we're always thinking about. And actually, you do have a chance to help by purchasing these products. It's not only the eco mochilas made with recycled bags. We have some Anna's colleagues are making these amazing plush toys. This is actually the one I was showing you before. They make them in all sizes and shapes, and you can see their happy faces by having this opportunity to make this beautiful artwork and help a very critically endangered Colombian species. These are all Anna's friends that she works with. And actually, they are making now these little ornaments, Christmas ornaments. You can go online and check them out. That would be a great way to decorate your Christmas tree and help the communities that are working with us at Proyecto Tití to protect cotton top tamarins. Actually, not only the artisans are involved in this now, their families, so their spouses or brothers or relatives are also helping us plant the forest for cotton tops. They are farmers by nature and by tradition, and they help us propagate the trees that cotton tops eat and they feed from when the little fruits that grow. They help us plant it and they help us care for these trees until we see them grow and become forest that is good for cotton top tamarins. So that is part of the social work we do, and we're very happy, and we continue to look for opportunities to get the communities involved in protecting cotton tops at the same time that we keep them away from cutting trees and hunting animals. But we know that these are usually adults that already are trying to make a living, but we also work with kids like you guys. And my third and last story is about Nelson. And Nelson is a kid that grew up in another community very close to Savage and to Anna's community and to Savage's forest and Ray and everybody in the family, the Cotton Top family. We met Nelson when we came to his school to educate the kids about cotton tops. We have a very fun, playful program that we bring into the schools. And we came and met Nelson. Nelson was like 13 years old. He was in 7th grade back then. And he was one of the most excited kids about, cotton tops. He just got very interested. Okay. And in this program, they get to go into the forest, see Savage, see Ray, track the monkeys with the antenna, trying to find the transmitter, and learn why do we do all of that. And all of the stories we tell them in the classroom come to life when they come into the forest. Because of all of this, Nelson got so excited, and he and a group of other students created this Titi club. We called the cotton top tamarins titis in Colombian, Spanish. So you can see Nelson down there with his friends. They started creating their own projects to benefit their communities, composting, home gardens, plastic recycling, plastic bag recycling as well for the artisans. And, dancing, participating in community festivals, and also creating awareness within their community by doing this beautiful paper mache giant cotton top head. You can see Nelson there. He became one of the young leaders in the community to fight for cotton top tamarins, and even convinced his teachers to do his social work in the last year of high school, teaching other kids about cotton tops. Nelson is a very sweet story that we love to share, because from a little kid in 7th grade that learned for the first time about cotton tops, even though he lives very close to the forest, he became one of the education assistants of one of the largest zoos in Colombia that teaches about cotton tops and about biodiversity. He is now 23 years old. He got a technical degree in environmental management, and now he's going to school to become an environmental educator. And like Nelson, we have, worked with many kids that are interested in the environment and that have, shared that same passion we share. And that help us. They become ambassadors of our work, and everywhere they go, they carry cotton tops in their hearts, and they spread the word about saving this jewel of the Colombian biodiversity. We make it fun for kids. We really want kids to love cotton tops, to feel the pride of having this cute little monkey only in our country, and to be responsible and to help get involved in saving their forest. That's why we do the festival of the cotton top tamarin, of the day of the cotton top tamarin, once a year, and we have our big mascot there. And we have this wonderful celebration where we gather everybody to celebrate cotton tops and just create that strong connection we want to create with the communities to help us save cotton tops. We cannot do this alone. We need everybody to be a part of this. So this is what we do. We have research, we have forest protection, we have education, and we have community work, all of it around protecting Colombia's most endangered and most and cutest monkey ever. That is the work of Proyecto Tití. I want to acknowledge our team. These are the people that every day go to schools, work with communities, track the monkeys, and plant forests and work with the farmers to plant forests. This is the Proyecto Tití team, and I'm very proud of them. People with passion, the passion I know we share with you guys that are listening today, and the passion that take us to dedicate our life to protecting our world's biodiversity. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to my talk today. I invite you, if you can, and with the supervision of your teachers or your parents, to follow us on social media and to check out our website. If you want to see some amazing videos, we have a YouTube channel, and you can enjoy seeing more and learning more about cotton top tamarins. So thank you so much, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. I hope you have enjoyed these 3 stories that show everything we want to do to save Colombia's cutest monkey.
Rosamira, thank you so much. If you want to come out of screen share so you can see us a little bit,
Yes.
you can dive into today. Yeah, that was amazing. And I love your focus on individual stories. It's so beautiful and something that we don't get from a lot of our speakers. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. So let's start with questions, guys. If you're on YouTube, I know Ms. Dykstra's class is joining us in Guelph. If any other classes are joining us, share your questions in the chat bar. We'd love to take as many as we can over the next 20 minutes or so. But what we'll do right now is go to Ms. Robinson's class. And Ms. Robinson's class is joining us in Petawawa, Ontario. Just demute your microphone, guys, and come on in and ask away. Welcome in, grade 6, 7s. Hey.
Okay.
Perfect.
Right there.
How did the cotton top tamarins originate?
How did they originate?
Yes.
Yeah, they probably come from a long time evolution. They are part of a group of little monkeys that are only in South America, and there are, I believe, about 16 different species of little monkeys like cotton tops, but they are all different species. So some of them have different color hair. Some of them don't have this amazing top. Some of them are, bright colors like the golden lion tamarins in Brazil. But they, as time went by and evolution went on, they got basically confined to certain areas within our continent. So you only find them in certain areas, and they were confined there mostly by water areas. So where cotton tops live in Colombia, they're surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean in the north, and then Colombia's largest river, the Magdalena and Cauca rivers, on the other end. and they never come down to the ground, and they don't swim. So they basically got confined in this region, and from then on, it's been their home.
Fantastic, guys. Great answer, Rosamira. All right, one of the classes on YouTube. Mr. Parker, class, Cameron wants to know what they eat. Could you explain a little more about what they're eating in the forest?
Yes. So in the forest, we have many different types of trees, and a lot of them produce little fruits seasonally. So it rains. We do have a dry season and a rainy season. Here in Colombia, we don't have like the four seasons like you have up in the US and other places in the world. We only have dry season, rainy season. It's always hot, it's always warm, it's always humid. So during the rainy season, a lot of the trees grow the little fruits, and cotton tops have a lot to eat then. And so they feed from like 40 different fruits that grow in this forest in different trees. But when the dry season comes and there's not that many fruits, it's when they eat insects. So they love to eat little grasshoppers and little bugs that they find in the forest, and that increase very much in the dry season. And they also love when like a woodpecker comes in and pecks on a tree, and then some sap comes out. Oh, cotton tops love that. They go there and start licking there because it's very sweet and it's high energy, and they eat that. But it's mostly fruit when it rains.
Awesome, Rosamira. We do that in Canada too. We just go up to the maple trees and get syrup that way. Ms. Deicher's class, just a nice counterpoint to that question. What are their predators? What's eating the tamarins?
Yeah, we don't like boa snakes. They eat our cotton tops, and also raptor birds. Mostly, cotton tops are diurnal, so they actually wake up early in the morning and go to bed very early. They find a very nice large tree, and they all piled up, like a cotton top bowl. They make a cotton top bowl, snuggle all together. They find like a tree branch or a hollow, and they sleep there to stay safe from night predators. Night predators are usually like ocelots, little felines, little cats that are wild and that live in the forest, are also predators. But in the daytime, when they're hanging out in the trees and finding food and playing around, it's usually the raptor birds that are hovering around, or boa snakes that are very sneaky and come in when they are distracted, taking a nap, and so on. We actually have seen that happen. Not happy about that, but that's nature. That's nature, and that is the way things work in the forest.
Yeah. Great answer. One of the things I like to highlight too for primates especially is that when it comes to creatures that are attacking them, boas come, of course, up the tree or from the ground. Hawks and raptors come from the sky. And there's different alarm calls in a lot of primate species that alert the other monkeys in the forest to whether something's coming from above, the attack's coming from below. So you get that sort of really cool communication in primates, which is very neat. Awesome.
Yeah, that is actually amazing, Jesse. Cotton tops have a whole language like we do. And they have like more than 30 different alarm calls, just like you were mentioning. So they make alarm calls when there's, depending on what's going on. Yeah. And so it is like a language, just like us, just like we do.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Rosamira. All right. I want a question, actually, before we dive back in with classes, Ms. Robinson, I'll come to you in a second. You mentioned the pet trade ever so briefly, that they don't make good pets, and it's a question we get all the time for cute animals. So why shouldn't people have them as pets? I mean, they're critically endangered, but why is, and another thing that people see a lot is when they go to countries, the chance to have animals on your head or sitting on your shoulder or take photographs of them. Why is this not a good idea?
Well, the pet trade is one of the things that it's threatening cotton tops very much. People hunt them and sell them on the pet trade. People that don't know buy them and take them home, and they are terrible pets. On one side, because we are harming a family. In order to hunt a cotton top, usually 2 or 3 more in the family die. They usually do this with slingshots or with traps, and a lot of the animals get hurt when they are hunted. Some of them die. So you're basically destroying a whole family when you hunt one animal to be sold in the pet trade. Yep. And then when they're in our homes, they have such a hard time. I mean, people say, no, they're great. I feed them nice. I give them not, I care for them. That's not the life they want. They want to be free. They want to be in the forest. They want to be with their families. They want to be eating their food, not eating rice and steak and anything else we eat in our homes. So contrary to what people think, these animals don't do well in our homes. They have a hard time, and it's so sad to bring an animal to our home thinking that it might be a good pet, and then having such a terrible life that is not what an animal, a wild animal, should have. Right. Think of us as living in an area where we don't know anybody, we don't speak the language, we don't find any good place to sleep, we don't eat the food we like. That's how they feel in our homes. So it's better to leave them in their forest home. If you want to see them, you go visit them, you see the wild, get amazed about everything that is in a forest, and help protect their home, because it's good for them, it's good for us.
It's it's such an important message, something that we always like to talk about in conservation programs. Now, a lot of our students, of course, are unlikely to end up in a situation where they are getting these animals as pets, but one thing you can do at home is when you travel, don't enter into opportunities where animals are on you or get a chance to pet them. And don't share those pictures. By driving a demand that leads to those animals being taken into the wild. So don't share pictures of people with animals. Share instead pictures of people at conservation organizations, looking at working with some of our conservation partners. And for animals in captivity, one thing you can do in Canada and the US is look for the AZA or CAZA certification for zoos. And so that means that those organizations are at the highest standards of animal care. The animals are going to be cared for. There are survival plans in place, usually breeding programs where possible. So look for those, and that means that you're going to a really nice and accredited zoo facility. So lots of things you guys can do here in Canada and the States. Miss Robinson, if you guys have another question, demute your mic, come on back in and go for
it. Today, how many cotton-top tamarins have you counted?
Yeah.
Okay, great question. Yes, we have done 2 counts. One 15 years ago, one 10 years ago, just about 10 years ago. We counted about 7,000 cotton tops in northern Colombia. You know, in that little black spot I showed you in our country, which is the only place on earth where they live. It's about 7,000. The number doesn't really say that much, but what is really shocking is the amount of forest that is left. So it's only 2%. So before we had 100% of the area covered with beautiful tropical dry forest. Now we only have 2%. It's like if from your home, you kind of took out everything and only left the bathroom, and whatever's left is just little patches of forest that are isolated from each other. So the real threat, that's why the real threat is the habitat loss, and that's why we work so much to protect. We need those numbers to go up. We need the forest to go up to make sure that cotton tops will make it into the future. And the many other animals that share a home with cotton tops can also have a stake in the long term.
Yeah. Habitat destruction is something that we hear about a lot in this program. Again, one thing I just want to stress for kids, now this isn't specifically for Colombian forests, but a program that we've worked with for years is Reserva, the Youth Land Trust. So they actually work with youth around the world to raise money to buy up tracts of land, to protect it for posterity. And habitat protection is the single greatest thing you can do as an individual to help save species around the world. Without a place to live, animals aren't going to live there, and we're going to lose them. So Again,
one more thing. Yes, I wanted to add to that, because that's great. We need space. Humans, animals need space, and we can all live together. So, like with the farmers that we work with, they leave little pieces of forest in their properties, and they do environmentally friendly farming in their land, and that way they have their food, they have their income, and they let the animals live in the little piece of forest, and that little piece of forest connects to others, and it becomes a larger forest. Yep. So that is what we're trying to find, is just balancing out, having space for us, but also leaving some space for the animals and for the all amazing creatures that live in the different habitats around the world.
Whether it's promoting ecotourism, and we see a lot of this in Canada, our national park system is a great example of this, or just leaving room for animals to flourish. I mean, Pristine Seas is another initiative we cover where they left areas of ocean intact, and what it leads to is more money for fishermen, more jobs for the community, and more fish in the ocean. And this is something that we're seeing around the world. So there's room for both. And I'm again, you're hitting all the notes. I'm so glad we're getting a chance to cover all these amazing stories of what's going on in Colombia. So thank you, Rosamira. All right, we're going to take a couple more questions. Ms. Dykstra's class, how do tamarins protect themselves? If that raptor's coming right for them, is there anything they can do to stop it or not?
Yes, they're fast. They're fast. Sometimes what they do is they actually have routes or paths they take within the forest, and they do have shelter places that they know very well. Again, usually on high trees, especially through vines, lots of vines that are part of the forest. And then they go all in there and become just one big ball of fur of like, I don't know, each family, it's usually between 5 or 7 family members, right? So these big families, they all get together and hide. So they are very, very wise. They are very agile. They can move fast in the forest. And sometimes they're faster than a boa for sure. But they also know, they're very smart because they also know that they cannot be on the treetops where the raptor birds are hanging out. They're usually like one layer down. So they are always, and again, like there's always one member in the family watching out for predators. So if they see anything, they just run and go to a shelter place and try to be safe. Sometimes they get distracted, and that's when a boa comes about, or, you know, in the dry season, sometimes they get exposed a little more, and it happens. We have seen it happen. But again, they have their own dynamic, and most of the times they're able to get away.
Yeah. Well, lucky that, and I hope they keep that up, and I'm sure you do too. Okay,
Yeah.
before we wrap up today, is there any last message you want to share with kids? I mean, you've been sharing this amazing stuffy that I might have to go cut when I'm done. But is there
Yes.
for kids to leave this broadcast with, thinking about cotton-top tamarins, how they can get involved and help protect them?
Yes, one way you can definitely help you and your families is definitely go to our website and learn about the products that are made by these artisans, by Ana, by Hitlesa, by everybody that works with us in the communities to protect the monkeys. You can purchase them online. It's a domestic delivery because we do have some stock in the US. And then you can buy those beautiful ornaments I showed you about to decorate your Christmas tree. So you can have a beautiful a Christmas tree decorated with little cotton tops with Santa heads. And at the same time, with that, you're helping the conservation of this cute little monkey. And I welcome you to visit our website and again, check it out. It's a great way to help. This has been a tough year. The artisans have struggled a lot with the COVID pandemic, with their work, with selling their products. So that will be an amazing way to help them. But learn more. Visit our website, learn more about cotton tops, and tell your friends, tell your family, everything you learned about. We need the message to spread all around the world, to get the support and to also help other causes all around the world. Like Jesse was saying, there's a lot of people like us working to protect this amazing biodiversity. So learn about them, support them, tell your friends, tell your family, and if you get a chance, get a little Santa cotton top in your tree for this Christmas and help us out.
Fantastic. Well, I certainly will, and I hope a lot of our other students today join in as well. Again, check out Proyecto Tití's website on the bottom of your screen, or join them on Twitter in general, on social media. Just their name, very easy to check that out. So, Rosamira, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. What I'm going to do now is bring in Miss Robinson's class just to say a quick thank you and goodbye, and we hope to see you back soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Miss Robinson's class, thanks for joining, guys.